Ciao ragazzi, last fall I took a road trip to see this. The Grand Prix Cycliste de Montreal, the 2024 edition. There are only 2 UCI World Tour races in all of North America, and this is one of them. I try to get out and watch this race every chance I can. And you know, if you're a cycling enthusiast, you owe it to yourself to watch at least one World Tour race up close. It's so different when you see it in person. You'll get a chance to see your favorite riders, watch them practice, and cheer them on during the race. I always bring my camera along to catch souvenir photos and videos. Over the years, I've had a chance to see Chris Froome, Greg Navarme, Alberto Contador, Tom Boonen, Rui Costa, Ryder Herschel, and even Peter Sagan. This year's lineup of riders was impressive. There was 3-time Tour de France winner and 2024 world champion Tadej Pogacar. Then there was 2-time world champion Julian Alaphilipe. Even if you're not into road cycling, you might recognize these names since they both starred in the Netflix series about the Tour de France called Unchained. Also on the race card was 2024 winner of the green jersey at the Tour de France, Biniam Girmay. Or is it Biniam Girmay? I think it's Biniam Girmay. What do you think? Is it Biniam Girmay or Biniam Girmay? The race card also highlighted a couple of promising Canadians. There's Hugo Houle, who won a stage at the Tour de France in 2022, and he dedicated his victory to his brother who had passed away that year. Then there's Derek G., who's been putting in some solid performances on the Pro Tour. He finished 9th at the Tour de France in 2024. And let's not forget about Michael Matthews. Now this guy has done races in both Quebec City and Montreal and won both of them. So if anyone knows the strategy on how to win this race in Montreal, it's him. I was really looking forward to attending this year's race, but the road trip almost fell through if I hadn't struck a deal with the better half. She'd go as long as we included some sightseeing. I agreed, and we arrived in town a day early to explore downtown Montreal. After walking around all day, we started feeling hungry, so we decided to head up to the Jean Talon market to grab some food. If you've never been, there's all kinds of vendors selling fresh fruits and vegetables, and others with prepared foods, like small restaurants. We visited this little place that serves seafood. She's a big fan of their calamari, and that put me in the good books. The next morning was the start of race weekend, and we jumped onto a bus to check out the course and the teams. Okay, so quickest way to get to Montreal is not to take your car downtown. Just grab city transit, so we're going to take the subway down. And subway system here is quite good. We just got let off by our bus. We're here at the bus terminal at a place called Côte Vertu, and this should take us right downtown. So just getting out of the subway station at the metro, that's what they call it here in Montreal. Actually very good, gets you around fairly quickly, especially on the weekend. I ended up spending like $15 or $16, and I got a bus pass for the whole weekend. I don't have to worry about parking my car downtown or whatever. So I'm good from Friday afternoon until Sunday morning. So what I'm going to do today is we're going down to the Delta Hotel where the riders are staying. And they actually came down here by bus overnight, this morning. And what they end up doing on Saturday is they get all dressed up, get their bikes ready, and they do a quick recon of the route. So hopefully we'll be able to see a few of the bikes that they're riding today, see some of the riders. And they sort of come out in drips and drabs. Some go out bright and early, and other times they come out later in the afternoon. As you can see here, a lot of fans like myself out here just waiting to see everybody come out. It should be very interesting. Let's see who we see this afternoon. Okay, so we got the Soudal team coming out here on their S-Works.
Luke?
And some autograph sounds here. And this is, let's have a quick look here.
Yes, I'm here.
This is Alaphilipe. I wandered around the hotel for a bit, and I found the Israel Premier Tech mechanics making adjustments to bikes and then loading them back on the truck, which would indicate to me that the Soudal team is probably one of the last teams to leave the hotel, and the other teams were already out on the course or back at the hotel. As I was shooting B-roll video of Julian leaving the hotel, I caught this special moment. I'll explain what it is a bit later in the video. Since most of the teams had already left the hotel, we decided to walk over to the race course to see if we can spot any of them. Sure.
Yes.
GYE.
Yes.
And just past us was Tadej Pogacar. Well, that was quite interesting seeing the UAE team walk right by me while we were waiting for them down at the garage to come out. So gonna take a walk up what they call Park Avenue. That's where the race is tomorrow. So we're just waiting to get across the street here. I see the Canadian team here in the corner. Not sure who that is, but we'll have a look. And they've done their practice run and they're all heading on back. This is Bahrain victorious. For some of the Canadian riders. These guys are just riding in open traffic, no special escort, no special anything. As we're walking up Park Avenue, it looks like, oh, the Lotto Soudal guys have done their return and they're on their way back. As we catch these guys going. As we're nearing the start of the course, hopefully you can see that, and the finish line is uphill all the way, so it'll be an uphill sprint. We'll go over a little closer and just have a look and see what's going on. Teams coming home from, oh, that's Biniam Girmay. Biniam! Biniam! The actual course actually goes all the way down to where these cars are. And what ends up happening is they come down straight here, they do a hairpin turn, and then all the way straight up. Now that hairpin turn is kind of tricky, and you can't do it at a very high rate of speed, otherwise you'll wipe yourself right out. So what ends up happening, especially in the final lap, everyone sort of slows down, turns, and then it's an all-out sprint right to the end, full gas. Everyone starts pretty well at zero, and as you can see, it's all uphill all the way up here. It's the people from Ineos. Yeah, this seems to be where the action is. I really thought the hotel would have been better, but get to see a little more here. Okay, they're already preparing for 2026 when Montreal's going to host the World Championships. A little reminder here, that'll probably be on television 100 times tomorrow. And who's coming down here? Oh, that's Biniam's team. Oh, and those squeaking disc brakes, aren't they great? More guys on their way down and a bunch of fans joining in with them. Who do we got coming down here? Oh, Boya. And a bunch of locals trailing them. And some of the Soudal guys. So I made it here to the start-finish line. Start is on that side. I guess this is where they're going to be doing the sign-in, and this is usually where they announce the winners. And stuff's been changed this year. I'm going to show you here. You can see these tents and tents up here. Now all of this is usually the VIP section, and I'm going to turn around here. That used to be over here where the Ekoi tent is. That's going to probably be part of the fan section tomorrow. They used to be stationed over here, and all the fans used to be able to get on this side and watch the race, and you could see the sign-in and all that kind of stuff. So this year it looks like the average fan is going to be blocked out because all the VIPs are going to be in front of them, and average fan like myself is not going to be able to see this live. All we're going to end up seeing is probably the television screen, which is a big disappointment. After seeing some of the teams and riders at the hotel and along the route, we decided to call it a day. We grabbed a quick bite to eat, and then we turned in. Now, the next morning, we packed a lunch and some drinks to take with us to the race. We jumped on the metro and got off at a station that was right on the race course. And we're going to be walking on back down towards Avenue de Parc, or English translation, Park Avenue. And today is supposed to be a nice warm one today. It's going to be about 28 degrees Celsius, which works out to, I think in Fahrenheit, 824 degrees Fahrenheit, something. Oh, hold on a sec. Messed up on my calculator. 82.4 degrees Fahrenheit. That sounds a little better. Along the route, they actually have some spritzing stations. You can stand in front of them and they spray water all over you to cool you off. Because later today, you're definitely going to need it. The high is supposed to reach around 4 to 5 o'clock. The race is supposed to end, well, there we go. There's a sign about the race. It's supposed to end around 5 o'clock today. And 4-ish, I think actually official time to end is 4. But usually by the time they get the, they announce the winners, etc., etc., usually ends up being around 5 in the afternoon. So it should be getting pretty hot for everybody towards the end of the race. Hopefully at this stage of the season, they're all hydrated and they got their legs and they know how to deal with hot weather at this point. One thing I'm noticing here on the back end, it's shaded, so that'll be quite good for the riders this afternoon. They'll be in the shade when they get down here, cool them off a little bit, because there is quite a bit of climbing to do today. If I'm not mistaken, it's close to 5,000 meters total, so it's definitely gonna tax you today. And we've also been seeing all kinds of riders still on the course that are not part of teams, so basically local people using it as transportation to work. I did see a Lidl rider just whiz by here. I don't know if he's just doing a quick reconnaissance before the sign-in this morning. So this is the first time I've ever seen something like this. This tells you how many cyclists have used this bike lane today, all the way from here all the way up. So it's showing me 251, and I'm gonna have to check out my Google translator. Cycliste chaque année 390.181. So I wonder if that's for all the cyclists throughout the whole year. 390,000 people have used this, which is an interesting statistic. Yeah, and the excitement begins. We just arrived to the park. We kind of can hear some of the sign-ins starting up, and the big hoopla, it really gets the adrenaline flowing. Okay, this is what I was afraid of. Just over here is the stage where the riders are, and okay, time for a rant. I was really disappointed with the new viewing arrangement for the average fan. Had I known that after a 7-hour drive to Montreal, the best viewing angle I could get was this, or this, or this, where you're beside the stage, standing shoulder to shoulder in a mob of people, and you can't even move, and the best you can do is see the side of somebody on the stage. Not cool. Let me show you some photos from previous races in Montreal that I took. I was far away from the stage, but at least I got a chance to see some of my favorite teams and snap a couple of souvenir photos. And this year, Montreal was celebrating the 50th anniversary of hosting the Road World Cycling Championships back in 1974. They did a nice video presentation showing the men's winner, Eddy Merckx, and showing the women's winner, Geneviève Gabalion. And Geneviève was on stage to accept a commemorative World Road Cycling Champions jersey from none other than Julian Alaphilipe. It would have been a nice thing to see, but from my vantage point, the best I could do was watch it on a big screen TV. But I got the next best thing. I had a chance to see up close Julian Alaphilipe meet Geneviève Gabalion for the first time and record it. Let's go back to a previous part of the video. Remember this? I was there shooting random B-roll video, and I didn't realize who this lady was shaking Julian's hand. It was only after I began to do the edit that I put two and two together and realized what I had caught on video. Lucky me. I really hope the organizers in Montreal and the UCI reconsider this new arrangement. It's not fun for the average fan. Well, that's enough of the rant. Let's get on to the start of the race. Well, the race has started, and this year I decided to walk the 12-kilometer course instead of staying in one spot and wait for the riders to pass by. This is what makes city courses appealing. You get to experience watching the same riders at several different spots around the course. We took a detour and strolled back up the road that we used to get to the start of the race. And we found a little boy had set up a lemonade stand just at the edge of the sidewalk. Not only did he have cold drinks, but he also had chocolate bars, fresh fruit, and even a bike pump that these cyclists use to get themselves back on the road. How entrepreneurial is that? We decided to grab a couple of cold drinks from him and continue on. Okay, we're at the far end of the course, and now we're gonna climb up to the top of Mount Royal, and we're just waiting for some other the guys to come through. This is gonna be a bit of a challenge to walk, but part of the fun about being on a bike race, you just wander around and take in the scenery of the town that you're in. Interesting thing, this side of the road is brand new, freshly paved, and the side that the riders are riding on has got a bunch of cracks in the road, all kinds of potholes and whatnot. Thing when you're at a bike race, when the riders blow by you, you have no clue who's who and who you're supposed to cheer for. It just happens so quickly. Hear the squealing disc brakes on the way down. And team cars on the way. Okay, so as we're walking towards the top of Mount Royal, I'm not sure what this is, but obviously Trek's involved somehow. I guess one of the local bicycle dealers has got a barbecue going and food and whatnot, and if I'm not mistaken, yeah, they got a TV. Let's just sort of sneak in here. They got a TV watching the race. Everyone's sort of kicking back, enjoying the race there. A little barbecue going. Okay, what I thought was going to be the top of the hill wasn't. It was actually the top of Montreal University. And I've got to go up another hill. And it definitely has been getting hot, and I really appreciate walking through these shaded areas. It's made a world of difference. Peloton on its way. Who's at the front here? UAE. Okay, more climbing to the top. I haven't got to my lunch spot yet. More ways to go up to Mount Royal. So this way and up, up, up. Well, they're telling me this is going to be a very good view, and I hope so. I've been climbing this thing all day. This is what you call a bling bike that you see all over the place here. Real something, all chrome. Beautiful. So the view from the top of here is gorgeous. You can see all of downtown Montreal all the way there. This here is the old Montreal Olympic Stadium. Just fantastic. Tree canopy below us. That was worth the climb. And I just put some food in me, and I think I should be good for the rest of the afternoon. It is really starting to warm up right now. So back onto the road. Lone Canadian at the end there, trying to stay ahead of the broom truck. Looks like the day is starting to wear on a few of the riders. A few of them are starting to fall off the back. Okay, this is the first time I've seen this up here. It's a Red Bull section. We finally left the Red Bull area and headed back to where the race started to check out the Fan Expo and find a good spot to watch the finish of the race. We were tired, hot, and really thirsty because we had walked more than 21 kilometers. I even had salt stains on my shorts from all the sweat to show for it. Remember, we walked from the subway station to the race start and then all around the course. At this point of the day, I was ready to find a place to sit and relax. I wanted to lie down on this bunch of ice and have the guy drive me around the race, but the driver wasn't having any of it. This year's Fan Expo was one of the biggest I've seen in a while. There were all kinds of booths from bike companies such as Argon, Louis Garneau, Specialized, plus there were companies giving away free food samples, along with a few places to get a bite to eat if you're really hungry. Then there were the groups showing off fun places to travel to. We got done checking out the Fan Expo, and the race had been going on for about 4.5 hours, so I figured this was a good time to head toward the finish line and secure a spot to watch the end of the race. I really don't like having to do this because the waiting around can be pretty stressful, not to mention a little claustrophobic with people in front of you, people behind you, people beside you. You end up becoming one big ball of people. But you know what? This is where the excitement happens. Everyone's cheering, watching the riders approach the finish line, and then you finally see who wins the race. This is the kind of stuff you don't get when you watch it on a screen. So it's looking to me like a lot of the riders are actually bailing out, and there's only a few more laps left, and the peloton is probably going to start to turn it up. Unfortunate, there's a big contingent of Biniam Girmay fans today, all from Eritrea, really out to support him. And looks like he's not going to even make it to the end, which is unfortunate. With just 4 laps to go, I could feel the pace of the race really pick up, as the peloton turned into one big blur, and it broke up into 2 packs. The front pack was pushing hard to catch these 2 guys, who were up ahead in a breakaway. The front pack pushed the pace so hard, the back half of the peloton is nowhere in sight. Check out the video. Let's focus on this front group, who are the riders that have a good chance of winning a podium position. I'm going to hit the brakes on the video and slow it down so we can see what's going on and it's not just one big blur. It looks like UAE is making a strong push for the win as they put 3 riders up at the front of the peloton. There's Tim Wellens, Damon Novak, and Rafael Majica. And right behind him is Magnus Sheffield from Ineos. I don't know why he's up here. Any of you have an idea why Sheffield's up here on his own? Drop a comment below. And then there's UAE leader Tadej Pogacar. The other top riders in this pack, waiting for their moment to strike, are Julian Alaphilipe. And then from Jayco we have Simon Yates and Michael Matthews. And don't forget there's a Canadian here, Derek G. There's 3 riders from Bahrain Victorious working hard to support rider number 113, Pelo Belbayo Lopez d'Armentia. Try signing a check with that name. There's only a couple of laps to go. Let's see what happens.
Breakaway was caught. We got 24. We got 2 more laps to do the 24K. Looks like Pogacar's at the front. 2 more laps to do.
As the peloton went whizzing by with just 2 laps to go, they got to the first climb, and Pogacar took off and left everyone behind.
Okay, I'm going to give you a shot overhead, and you're going to see the photographers out on the tarmac lining themselves up for the photo shot. Check this out. All right, so final lap.
I heard the fans starting to cheer again. I figured the peloton was approaching and we'd finally find out who was going to win the race. Instead, I saw this. Pogacar all by himself. He had held off the peloton not for 1 lap, but 2. And the winner is Pogacar. He had gotten so far ahead, no one was able to catch him. I've never seen someone win this race by such a huge margin. This race is usually a sprint finish with about 6 or 7 riders fighting it out right to the very end. I hope you enjoyed that. That was my trip to Montreal, checking out the 2024 edition of the Grand Prix Cycliste de Montréal. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.